Welcome to Talking WoW, a podcast where we talk about World of Warcraft. My name is Tom, and on this episode of Talking WoW, we are going to delve into things that make us grumpy, Dragonflight edition. What we're going to mention is a few things that are maybe getting us so grumpy that we might go and burn down a world tree, or not. Joining me today, we have a very special guest from across the pond, as we call it. It is also a very good friend of mine and Marty's. It is coffee sipping Mike, aka Acid Tears. Welcome on the show, Mike.
Thank you for having me, and my special guest, if anybody hears her in the background, my daughter. She's wild, so you might hear her, but it's a good time to be here.
We look forward to hearing your daughter's views on what's making her grumpy in Dragonflight as well. It could be the highlight of the episode.
Just know that sometimes her thoughts are rambly and incoherent, so you may not understand exactly the point she's trying to get across.
Speaking of rambly and incoherent, also joining us on the show today, it is my co-host, Marty. Hey, Marty.
Hello. What an introduction. And I find it interesting that, back in the days when we started podcasting, it was like cats and stuff that was in the background on the recordings. Nowadays, it's turning into kids. It does quite the evolution there.
We're all getting older, or we're all growing up or something, Marty.
Everyone?
I also have a cat in the background as well. So, there could be some interesting background noise happening on this podcast. Hopefully, the background noise isn't more interesting than what we're talking about, but there can be no guarantees about that. So yes, we are going to be talking about things that are making us grumpy in Dragonflight Edition. Nothing like a good old positive episode to get out there. But let's start with Mr. Grumpy himself, Marty. What is something? You're getting it good today, aren't you?
Yeah. I think I'll have to sit out an episode after this or something like that because
it's too much. It's too much.
Too much.
What is grinding your gears a little bit when it comes to Dragonflight? Because let's just put it out there that we are enjoying Dragonflight. It's so far been a great expansion, but there's always something there that you're like, you know what? That's just that's not doing it for me, or that's raising my blood pressure a little bit.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I've been a little bit grumpy about is the profession system, the new profession system. And don't get me wrong, I think it was long overdue for an overhaul, and I think there is some good things in there in general. But
let me guess, you're an engineer.
I mean, among other things, I also have other professions. But one of the things that was, annoying to me. That actually kind of recently was that a guildie needed some gear, and I wanted to be helpful because he needed something from leatherworking, and I'm a leatherworker on my main, but I wasn't specialized in what he needed, so I couldn't guarantee him to get like a max rank version of it. And then he was like, yeah, well then I'll just find someone else. And that's I understand him, if you can get the max rank one, why wouldn't you try and get that? But it also was like, I feel like I couldn't help my guildie, so it gave me like a bad feeling as well that, I have the profession, but I cannot help you with it.
Oh, that is a tale of woe. And
it sounds like you're not a professional within your profession, and you're simply an amateur that's interested in it as a hobby.
Well, the thing is that I'm a leather worker, and leather workers can both make leather and mail gear, and my character is a mail wearer, so obviously I would focus on that. But what he and I've focused on the specific items where I've been lacking gear from my gear progression. So for instance, let's just say I think it's boots where I'm like fully upgraded in making boots, but he needed like bracers or something like that, which I haven't spent point in that yet. I'm working on it, but it haven't been like a priority for me personally. So
I think that's one of the interesting things about professions in Dragonflight is that we have these spec trees with them now and all these specializations, and there is a lot of points that needs pumped into professions to get everything. And one part of me is like, everyone's not going to have the same profession set up right now because some people have put points into some place that they thought was maybe a good idea, and then a few weeks later realized, oh, that wasn't, and I can't get a respec on this, not yet anyway. And then there's other people that maybe did their research, that, you know, the professional masters, Mike, that you're maybe alluding to there, that Marty's not, and they have managed to make big bank from this expansion so far, like they always do. Usually jewel crafters, those people are always making a lot of gold. Not engineers, obviously. Engineers are struggling in this expansion. We may have to open a little donation line for engineers for this expansion. I don't know. Please send me gold. I'm broke. I need more.
I've always been broke, and in the beginning of the expansion, I had high hopes of being able to contribute in terms of profession, and then I hit a wall in terms of how much experience I was gaining in it, and I couldn't figure out how to pass that wall. I think you have to like craft things for other people, but I hit the wall where there were no orders up because everyone that was able to craft higher quality was snatching them up real quick. I think there's since been changes since then, but I haven't really delved into it since then.
Yeah, I thought that whole system was just bugged for me. That it was just like, oh, there's just nothing here. Like,
the trick is you need to actually press the search button before they show up.
That's what it is, right? Okay, that's what it is.
But then again, then you press the search button, and then there's only like 1 or 2 things up, and it's for a recipe you don't have anyway. So why bother?
And what I saw that was happening in the latest patch of 10.07 was you were able to post crafting orders up there, but without the materials, and then it seemed like a good thing that, oh, I can complete these crafting orders, but it actually was costing you money to do that. You're potentially being shafted. That is something that is being corrected in 10.1 with the reagents that you need to provide is clearly stated. So be careful of that if you are, if you're listening to this before 10.1, that's impossible because it's not even out yet. So you're safe. You're safe now. The changes have been made in that regard. Moving on from professions.
Well, actually, one last thing.
Okay.
Because you did mention engineers, and one thing was that I was like, oh, I can make this toy if I go in this direction and spend my talent points here. So I did that. I got the toy. And then I realized that some of the materials I need to build this toy is something else that I need to unlock first. And I was just like, so now I've spent all my points getting so deep into this tree, and I cannot do it for another 3 or 4 weeks because now I need to go spend points over in that other tree that I haven't focused on because I wanted to get to the toy.
Blizzard really are the Grinch that stole Christmas, aren't they? Just no fun with your toys.
Focus on toys. You need to work before you can play with your toys.
Apparently so.
Mike, what about you? What has been getting you grumpy in Dragonflight so far?
It's a good problem to have. I think we've already mentioned that like we are all enjoying Dragonflight for the most part, and it's mainly just trying to figure out where to go and what to do next. There's a lot of quests in Dragonflight, and it seems like they're never ending, and my quest log has not seemed to shrunk at all, but rather it just keeps gaining more and more things. I'll revisit areas that I thought I was done with, and there's like random little quests here or there. It's a good problem to have, but as somebody who has issues with like open world games and just opening your map and seeing a million things on the map, I hate seeing that. So it does just kind of like, I accept 8 quests and then like, you know what, I'm just gonna log off for now. It's especially apparent when I log into an alt. A lot of people love the alt experience because you're not gated in terms of this linear pathway of what you have to do in order to level your alt and do what you want to do. I am just trapped on just seeing 1,000,001 things on the map for my alt, and I'm just like, I don't even know where to go or what I should be doing right now. So once again, I'm just going to log off, or I'm going to go back to my main and do some PvP or something.
It really was for me like a overwhelming experience when you start the game and you get into Dragonflight. you get to 70 and you haven't finished all the quests because there was just so many of them, the story quests and then the side quests and then side quests of side quests and side quests of side quests of side quests, and then you have all the world quests, and you are actually struggling to see your map. It's just like, where's the map gone? All I can see is icons, and what do I do now? It's definitely a thing that exists. And how are you overcoming that, Mike? Or is it just a matter of you're not?
I am definitely not. I'm doing the opposite and being dumb and adding even more quests from different zones, like older zones. So I was like, you know what? I don't want to bother with all of this, so let me go ahead and start doing the human heritage armor quest line. And then I realized that my human warrior is not exalted with Stormwind.
Oh,
so
no.
Then I started grabbing.
You call yourself a true human?
I leveled this character really quickly to be a warrior for this expansion. So I didn't do all those quests. So I started grabbing up all the old quests in Elwyn Forest and Westfall and the Stormwind area so that I could start getting rep. So now I've just essentially doubled my quest log since Blizzard was nice enough to increase the amount of quests that we can have in the log at one time. Now I just have a huge book full of quests that I'm probably never going to get to because the patch is going to come out and I'm going to deal with those quests.
Do we have a Marty tip on the fly for increasing your Stormwind rep?
I do believe that there is a tabard somewhere that might help you a little bit in that regard, if I
have
remember
it
correctly. Okay, so
it's for when you do dungeons, then you get XP for like killing mobs and stuff.
Yeah. So and since since you're max level, you should be able to do some of those dungeons really quick and get some rep up. But I mean, I don't have that problem. I always have played as a human because of that 10% rep increase. That's like the most the best ratio that there is in the game.
Well, 10.1 it won't be required. They're gonna take away the rep requirement, I think. So.
Oh yeah.
I'll be able to take care of it then.
But actually, just to throw that in there real quick, is that that human quest line you do is actually quite good.
Sorry, this is sounding a bit too positive for this.
Oh, sorry.
episode.
Yeah. Don't do
on.
it. It's horrible. It's horrible, that quest line. Don't do it. I'm grumpy about it.
You were grumpy when it ended because it was so
yeah, exactly. It's too short.
Well, that's
I think it was fine, and you get a little bit of a throwback to vanilla and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. Check it out and be grumpy about it.
I've heard the those heritage armor quests for the orcs and humans are particularly top tier. So perhaps we will talk about that on another episode of Talking WoW. So I guess I have to bring something to the table as well.
Yeah, what about you, Tom? Do you have anything that you feel grumpy about in Dragonflight?
Of course I do. Of course. I can't say something is totally perfect and is making me happy all the time. But there is one quest in particular that has caused me a bit of stress and a bit of just not looking forward to doing it, and that is a daily quest that contributes to the Tuskar reputation. Thankfully, I'm maximum renowned with them, so I'd never have to do this quest ever again, which feels pretty good. But the quest I'm talking about is Utter Devastation from an NPC called Brick's Rocket Cast in the Waking Shores. That quest. It is a quest where you have to put on a engineered shark fin from a goblin, and you have to go into the waters around that area and scare otters. One, I'm not pretty big on scaring otters. On the flip of that, the quest itself, there's always lots of people doing it, and you're swimming towards your otter. I don't know, I see you both smiling right now. I think you know what I'm getting at. You're swimming towards your otter, you're getting ready to scare it, and then somebody drops in from their dragon right on top of the otter and then scares it away. So that doesn't count for you. And you're just swimming around like a bit of an idiot for 10 minutes trying to scare these otters. And every time I did that quest, I felt like someone was just watching and waiting for me to start that quest so they could follow me and intercept my otters all the time. And that quest, I'm just glad I never have to do it again. I was never looking forward to doing that every single day. I kept going back to it. I did the grind. Honestly, I don't know how I did it.
Wait, did you say swimming?
Well, about partway through my grind, I started to realize, hang on, why don't I mount up on my fish mount or my underwater mount
Exactly.
and get a little bit of a speed boost? But still, even when I did that, there was people dropping in with their dragons or druids. That's the people who I have the biggest issue with, druids, because they have their underwater form. They can move so much faster, and they don't care. They don't care if you're trying to do the quest, because they will sneak in front of you, scare the otter, and then they'll be all like,
I completely understand you. I have been doing that daily as well, and I quit doing it for those reasons, that I was just so fed up with it. I'm like, you know what, I'll get there when I'll get there. There's other quests I can do, other things I can do. Why would I bother with this if it's, making me so unhappy?
It's true, and I just kept suffering with it. What about you, Mike? Have you had any experience with the otters, or is that just one quest you have not got round to picking up?
Well, when I couldn't figure out what to do with my alts, I just decided to park them all outside of that quest and fly over people that are trying to complete it and just scare otters, because it's a pastime for me that I just enjoy doing. It makes me feel big and strong. So I love flying on my Drake and just coming right in, waiting for someone to get close, because they're like, oh, he's not going to grab the otter. And then right when they get within range, boom, click it.
Unfortunately, that is all we had time for. Thanks for being here, Mike. So unfortunate you have to go right now.
I think that's the baby crying, or it's an otter. I can't tell.
It's probably me.
Something that I'm particularly grumpy about. I think that the rep grind, just in general, or the renown system, is some of them is a little bit too long. Those that go up to 30, I don't. Why did do some of them?
Says Mr. Human over here with his.
Yeah, but my human is not my main in this expansion, so
Sounds like a personal problem.
I'm suffering over here, but no, I just think I don't understand why, and I think it's also sort of probably my little bit, OCD brain is like, why is this on 30 when the other two is 25? I don't get it.
I don't like that they have recipes hidden behind those rep grinds. There are like certain recipes that you can only get when you hit renown with a certain faction.
Yeah, like toy recipes, right, Marty?
No, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I agree with you, Mike, and even I think there's even story hidden behind it, which I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of, because the grind is real in this case. I find.
Agreed.
I have a bit of the opposite experience with that I thought all of the renowns went to 30, and then I found out some of them didn't, and it felt like, oh my goodness, this is gonna be so quick. And I think the one renowned that was potentially the trickiest to get up was the centaur rep.
Oh really? For me it's the Iskar one.
The Tuskar one as well, but you can get a lot of rep with the Tuskar by doing the community soup event, and you can do that like multiple times a day, and there's a lot of rep to be had from that, and that actually makes it quicker than the centaur rep. The centaur rep, I don't know if you're maximum renown with the centaurs yet, but that is the one where actually you have more limited ways to gain rep, even though there is the grand hunts. The rep on that is really slow. You get decent rep for the first few times that you do it, but then after that, not really. But if you want to get good rep with the Tuskar, get eating your soup, boy. I'm telling you, that will fill up your rep bar and your belly.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what I did with the centaur, because I think I'm 24 out of 25 it goes up to, right? And I think I'm 24 currently, or 23 or 24. So it's almost there, and I haven't really pursued that one specifically. So.
Well, you better be ready as well, because when we're recording this, it's not out yet, but 10.1 will be, and we will have another renowned to fill up. You'll be back on the grind again. You'll be thankful for your human
fine.
racial.
Well, I'm a dragon. I'm an evoker.
That's right. I keep forgetting. You shouldn't have switched mains. There you go. It's your problem.
Yeah,
it's your problem.
It is.
All right, that about wraps it up for what makes us grumpy for Dragonflight. Not a very long episode, so maybe that is testament to Dragonflight so far.
Or maybe we all just had a good day and we're not that grumpy.
True, we don't know. But what about you out there? What makes you grumpy in Dragonflight? Perhaps you've got a list longer than your arm. Why not tell us in the places that you can do that? We'll take this opportunity as well to thank Mike for joining us. Thank you very much, Mike, for sharing your grumpiness on this episode today.
Thank you for having me. It's tough sharing my grumpiness when this baby is just over here doing her thing and like smiling and being goofy on the sideline. But like we said before, Dragonflight has been a lot of fun so far. I wish I had more time to play it, but thank you for having me either way.
And we look forward to having you back again soon. Until next time, everyone. Bye-bye.
Now I need to go level my US Paladin.
Thanks for tuning in, champion! Did you enjoy this episode of Talking WoW? If so, why not drop a review on your podcast catcher of choice, or leave us a comment? You can find Talking WoW on Twitter or YouTube over at Talking WoW. Hope to see you again soon!